What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here with a much requested review of the new Metallica album, Hardwired To Self Destruct. Metallica will always have a special place in my heart, regardless of how many times they break it. They were the first metal band that I really got into. I remember in high school I used to argue with my nerdy metal friends over which had more musical legitimacy, hip-hop or heavy metal. And Metallica was easily the band that they would always use as an example. Plus, it was the band that black kids would always throw at white kids in this weird kind of accusatory manner. You know, every white kid in high school was into Metallica. You know, what up, Metallica? Get the fuck out of my face, Metallica. Get the hell on, Metallica. So Metallica has put out some fantastic masterpieces, but then devolved into a band that was addicted to dropping turds on their fans repeatedly. So when I heard that they were doing a new album, I can't say that I was super stoked, but I figured I'd give it a listen, especially after hearing the title track, which I already talked about in a previous video, which I'll link down there. But I actually like the song now a bit more than I did back when me and L Mounts talked about it. It has a good main riff, a lot of energy. The lead, wasn't much to get excited about for me. The lyrics are still stupid. They come off like some dumb shit that's scrawled into the desk by a kid who wears a trench coat year-round, who also wears sunglasses inside. But overall, it's a good song. Atlas Rise, the next song, that was another good jam. Sounds like some vintage Metallica. It has some power to it, A much better lead than Hardwired. Much better lyrics than Hardwired. It's a song about Atlas, who in Greek mythology was sentenced to hold up the sky for all eternity. And the song basically has that kick back against the bastards kind of feel, that kind of don't let life get you down kind of thing. But it also doubles as maybe James's own feelings of having to bear this heavy burden, maybe when it comes to his own band, being held to this crazy high standard that he really just can't keep up with. Moth in the Flame, which was the second single, is another great song. Great riffs, especially the riff right before the bridge. Go back and listen. It reminds me of something that In Flames would have done back when they were still a good band. The chorus is done really well. It's melodic, it's catchy without being corny, which brings together that whole Iron Maiden kind of feel. This song actually has my favorite lead on the entire album too. It's a great mix of that bluesy style with that old school thrash style. Shows that even though Kirk Hammett managed to lose all of the riffs that he'd written for this album, he still didn't slack on those leads, man. He shows that he's still a great guitar player. There were only a few songs that I felt like could go completely. One was Dream No More. It seemed like a blatant Alice in Chains ripoff, and I'm one of the few people that was never a fan of Alice in Chains. This song didn't interest me at all. The song is really dry, it's boring, it's uninteresting. Boring riffs. Lars didn't do shit on the kit to keep my attention, and I don't like the pitch of James' vocals here at all. The other one is Am I Savage? The song was more boring than two geriatric amputees fucking. The riff was way too groovy for me to get into, and I thought James sounded like he was trying to go for something that was completely outside of his element, and he was failing miserably. I thought Murder One was a really cool idea, paying tribute to Lemmy and Motorhead, a man who, had he never picked up a bass and started a band, many other bands would have never existed. But the idea of throwing the Motorhead song themes and the Lemmy references throughout the song was done really well. It didn't sound forced at all. The only thing I didn't really enjoy about it was the song itself. It came off a bit dull, especially for a Motorhead tribute. A couple of songs had that feeling of the Metallica that I don't really like Now That We're Dead, Halo on Fire, the more mid-paced kind of boring sound that Metallica went through. Confusion, even though it's not one of the songs that I actually enjoyed, I didn't hate it, but it definitely sounds like a throwaway track from the Black Album, which, for the record, I love the Black Album. Same with Man Unkind. While I didn't really love the song, it definitely sounds like something from the Black Album. And I won't even touch on that lame-ass video, at least not here. It's funny that my favorite song on the entire album was the closing track, Spit Out the Bone. That song is fucking awesome. Sounds definitely like vintage Metallica. A great combination of like the Master of Puppets style songwriting with that kill 'em all attitude. It's fast, it's punchy, it's thrashy. It definitely makes you want to get up and get that fist winding up, boy. Honestly, for a Metallica album in 2016, I don't have many gripes with this at all. I think they did a great job of catering to fans of all their eras who definitely have touches of what made us love Metallica in the first place. Again, There are also elements of what made me lose interest in them personally, but that's okay. Some people really like that shit. But either way, most of it was really well done. The production on the album was really good. You know, I enjoyed Death Magnetic song-wise, but the production on the album was so shitty. The drums sounded like they were recorded in a bedroom somewhere, and the guitars sounded thin as hell, and it made the songs really hard to enjoy for me. And that's the difference with this album. It continues to return to good thrash that Metallica was doing on Death Magnetic, but the songs simply sound much better. And it's odd that it was produced by the same guy. The guitars on this album sounded great. They had that old school thrash feel while still having some thickness to them. James's voice sounded weird at times, but I'm thinking that's kind of what he was going for. But most of the time, his voice sounded pretty damn good. I really was not a fan of the drum sound at all. On Death Magnetic, it sounded like Lars was banging on some kitchen pots and pans, and this time it sounds like he's hitting some dull pieces of paper. Like the kick has absolutely no punch to it. But all in all, this was a solid Metallica album, a great mix of Kill 'Em All and the Black Album, which are two albums that I personally love. So if you enjoy those two albums, I kind of think that you'll enjoy the amalgamation of them. It's definitely the best thing that they've done in many years, and to me, of course, it's light years ahead of Load and Reload. Even the more rock and roll-ish style songs on this album sound a bit more interesting than the ones we've heard during their, we want to be a shit rock band era. But the fast, thrashy songs here work. The kind of mid-paced songs here work okay, even though they're not really my cup of tea. I feel like this could have been a really good single disc record if we shaved off a bit of the fat here. Like if this was a track listing, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But as a 3-disc album, we have something that's simply okay. I think they got a little bit too overly ambitious, and that caused the album to be a bit bloated. It's not bad enough to make fun of, but it's certainly not good enough to stick on my iPod or even return to over the albums that we've grown to love over the years. And I know it's the popular thing to shit on Metallica, but I really don't feel like I can do that here. I feel like I have to give credit where credit's due. Metallica has shown here that they still have it. The it may not be the it that a lot of us older Metallica fans would love for them to showcase, but at least it's an it that helped them write an album that didn't make us want to pop the tires on the first big wheel redneck pickup truck that we see. But the bar for Metallica albums in the last probably 10 years has been set pretty low, in my opinion. But all they had to do here was give us a taste of the Metallica that they know we all want. And I feel like they did that here. It's a throwback album, perhaps not thrown back far enough for some people, but at least we can say it's not another embarrassing blemish on their career. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think of this new Metallica album. Throw some comments in the comment section down there. And as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright?